Patrick, Big Meeks, how you doing? How's the atmosphere over in Chicago? Are you missing us? I got your mate in the studio here. Why are you not here? You scared? You running scared? What's happening?
Why don't you just open the window?
I can't be in this. I can't be in the same room than Roy Keane, so I'm better being in Chicago.
Who started this? I mean, this sort of. What do you want to ask that?
Do you know what? He's not kicked me yet, but I wanted to know who kicked more. Was it Roy or you, Patrick? Who started the famous debate? Should we just say? Be careful.
I think he's the one who started because he was always scared of me, and I think every time that he was facing me, he was quite scared of the quality and the challenges that I was give it to him.
Patrick, you know I was never scared of you. You are kidding yourself.
Patrick, I've got a question for you, actually. I'm actually terrified of Roy right now, actually. I think we've definitely stirred the pot here. But I just wanted to ask you how Arsenal would have approached this game being on the front foot. I look at Arsenal at this moment in time losing a lot of creativity in Odegaard. But if you lost Dennis Bergkamp, would that still affect the way Arsenal played?
Yes, of course. It's always difficult for teams to perform without a creativity, I will say. In our time, play without Dennis Bergkamp was quite difficult. But Arsenal today has to find a way to perform without Odegaard because, there will be players around who has to take more responsibility.
What about the midfield battle today, Patrick? There are questions, of course, over Kevin De Bruyne. As you said, there's no Odegaard. So what would you go in with if you were Arsenal here this afternoon?
Listen, I think Arsenal will have to play their own games, and players like Declan Rice, who I think has been really important and playing well for Arsenal since he joined the club. In the other side, you have Rodri, who has been really impressive since joining City. So I think the battle in the midfield will be quite really important in the games today.
Patrick, enjoy the game, enjoy Chicago, but next time we see you, hopefully you'll be sitting alongside Roy here in the studio with us.
Oh, tell me when that is.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Patrick. Take care.
Thank you.
So you played with
Patrick
Vieira.
Yeah.
Would you say he was the best Premier League midfielder?
Oh, wow! I actually got asked this question before. I grew up supporting Arsenal, as everyone knows now, because you threw me under the bus a couple of times. So I always favoured Patrick. But then, when I look back, it was sort of because I was a little bit biased. If I had to pick one out of Patrick and Roy, I said Roy Keane.
You actually loved playing against him, didn't
Yeah,
you?
Patrick was good, yeah. He'd bring out the best in you. And when Patrick was obviously a bit younger than me coming through, and you had Gerrard and Lampard and these players, yeah, but you need that as a player. You need challenges. But I always felt if I was at my best and Patrick was at his best, I'd take him.
Was he the hardest, though, Roy? When you don't talk about mindset, we talk about the games today, and we talk about Partey, who's been brilliant, Rice, who's been good. They've got Rodri and Kovacic, who might be in there. What's your mindset going before a massive game like this?
I knew I'd have to be at my very best when I was up against Patrick, and that's the biggest compliment I could give him. I couldn't switch off. He obviously challenges in different parts of your game. Patrick obviously technically was very, very good. He was obviously 6'1", 6'2", physically. He's physically a tough game. He was obviously in a good team. He had a big personality. So Patrick would challenge in different ways. So that's why I would have a lot of time for Patrick.
Physically, it was going to hurt as well.
Yeah, it was going to be a big challenge. Yeah, I always said, anytime a couple of days before we were playing Arsenal, the challenges, I knew physically it was going to take its toll on me. I knew there was going to be a physical battle, and on top of all that, the pace of the game would be good. The result was so important because obviously they were challenging for the title with us. So that. But
did you change anything though going into that game? Because at that time you was both going for league, massive rivals.
I wouldn't change my mindset. Every player I played against, I would have respect for him. I would never approach any game, particularly in the Premier League, and think if we're playing a lesser team, I'm going to have an easy day today. Far from it. But all I would say is that anytime we played Arsenal, and particularly against Patrick, is I would have to be.
Do you get those matchups again?
Sorry?
Do you get those matchups now in the Premier League, like you and Patrick?
It doesn't seem to be.
Like Rice
the
and
game
Rodri
has
today,
changed,
maybe.
Yeah, well, we hope it'd be nice
hope
to see
so,
something
right,
like
yeah.
that today. Maybe again, different personalities, different characters. The game has changed a little bit, but yeah, you probably don't see as much of that these days, unfortunately.